Hey, ideators and entrepreneurs, CUNY Startups here. Welcome to CUNY and Beyond, the podcast dedicated to helping aspiring entrepreneurs through storytelling. We're excited to dive into the entrepreneurial endeavors of CUNY students, alum, and bonus entrepreneurs who are willing to share their valuable insights with you. Join us for today's show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to CUNY and Beyond. My name is Gail Yankosik, and I'll be your host this afternoon. I'm joined by two quite incredible young women. We're going to hear a lot about their company in a moment, but first let me introduce them. First up is Amy Perez, who is a co-founder of Fluentica, which is their company, and the other co-founder with us is Lisandra de la Paz. Their third partner, Wendy Betancourt, couldn't join us today. So lovely to meet you, so lovely to have time to have this conversation. What was the impetus behind founding this company?
Actually, we had three friends who saw an opportunity in helping startups and small businesses grow through marketing, right? And we saw this huge opportunity on how these small business owners really approach and saw marketing, how inaccessible and expensive and sometimes not, they wouldn't make it a priority. And we saw an opportunity on like really showing people that marketing can be accessible, it can be affordable, and we wanted to take all the experiences that we had from like our corporate jobs, the startups jobs, to really help startups and business owners, founders.
And I just want to interject that Fluentica is a New York State minority and women-owned business enterprise that is certified. So that's really quite wonderful. So congratulations. When I saw that, I was very excited. I thought that was great. More women getting things done and Latinas on top of everything. So there you go. Amy, do you focus on one type of business, or do you sort of run the gamut of whatever the business needs? Do you don't look for just one business? You look at the people who are coming to you for help and assess it that way?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our primary focus is B2B businesses. As Lisandra mentioned, most of the businesses that we work with are startups and businesses, B2B established businesses that have not had any marketing going on in the past. So basically startups, right? Because they haven't had any like sales, processes or in their companies. And we also have some small businesses. It really depends on, what industry they're in, but we do have that as our secondary section.
How long have you been in business?
It's been 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. Yeah, we just turned 2 maybe 2 weeks ago.
Oh, great. That's great. I was telling Amy before we started that I have been mentoring students, CUNY students who want to form their own business through the CUNY Startups program. Reading about your company, Fluentica, it hit me that, wow, this is something they need because they're coming into this, they're working hard, they're looking for money, obviously, and to get the word out, someone like you, women are really, really helpful for these small startups. Have you encountered young people, or what would you say is the mean or average age of the people you are? Because you're saying startups and small business. I always think younger, but I may be incorrect in that.
I don't think we have taken like demographics or age. Of course, we engage a lot with Latino and women founders, but it's usually young people. It's a kind of founder that we see them also creating and founding startups.
No, yeah, we don't. I understand where that's coming from, because startups is, they're usually young people trying to build a business. And we do have a couple of them. But, anybody can start a business at any age. And we have seen that happening a lot with small businesses, by the way, more than B2B businesses, I would say.
Yeah. It's interesting. And I had a company once. I've done so many different things, but I had formed a consulting company with two of my colleagues at work. This was maybe 10, 15 years ago. And so I should not have even assumed that question was for young people only, because we weren't. But it was something that, had you all been around then, it would have been a great help to us, because we were just flying by the seat of our pants, even though we had all come from the television industry. So we did have a start in how to present ourselves. Was there anything in your background, any experience you had when, say, looking for work or trying to build up something that you were involved in, that gave you a spark to form this kind of company, or it was just more hearsay of what people needed?
It was a little bit of everything. So I come from the nonprofit and B2B background kind of experience with marketing. And prior to that, my background is also television and radio production. So coming out of my Rubin College, where I graduated with my undergrad in television and radio production, I saw myself working in supposedly video production, but then I was also doing some like Facebook ads and stuff like that. And that's kind of where I realized, wait a second, what am I doing here? I'm not doing production only. I'm also, running ads and getting more eyeballs on this video. So maybe I should go back to school. And then I went back and I went to City College. That's the reason how everything happened. And then I met Lisa. Long story short, those two like different backgrounds kind of like introduced me to a different way of doing marketing in a way. I guess that's kind of where like my experience comes from. But Lisa, for example, she has a different background and she's bringing like a different set of skills into Fluentica. And same with Wendy, she is like on the business side of the business of the company, and she's bringing a different set of skills.
It's interesting you say that. We were three women and we each brought something very different to the table that was necessary and that worked together. So I understand that concept. When you were going through school or starting up, I'm a very strong believer in mentors, having been one since 2019 for CUNY students. Did you have a person who mentored you, or a professor, or an older relative? Did you, either of you, have a mentor that kind of said something or put you on the right path?
Yeah, we actually had the same mentor, or program director, Nancy Tag. I think she was a person who saw maybe your skills. We always would approach her and I don't know, it's really nice. Even after creating and opening the company, founding Fluentica, we've been in touch and it's been amazing. Yeah. I agree with Lisa. Nancy Tag, she was the program director of the branding and communication program in City College. But to add to that, I think, it's great to have them along your side when you're building a business. And one of my greatest mentors, shout out to him if he's listening to this interview, he is also a CUNY professor, and his name is James Sayeg. And he is my mentor. He's been my mentor since 2011. And he's, the best. I think he knows the ins and outs of everything. So he's amazing.
It's interesting how much, I don't think I realized at the time, and I've had mentors. I did not go to college directly out of high school. I worked for a few years and then went to college at night, continued to work. But it's interesting to me that perhaps what they said to me at the time may not have registered. But as time went on and I got involved in different things, their voice keeps coming back to me. It's like I hear my mother's voice all the time telling me, "Don't get old." When I start complaining about things, but it's so important to have that person or persons. It doesn't have to be one person that is there who you can count on, and will give you the advice or caution that you need that someone else may be afraid to tell you. And I think that's what the best role mentors are. Honest. They don't do the work for you, but they put you in the mind of all of that. Amy, what in the business, the three of you each have, from what I research I did, each of you have somewhat specific interests or specialties, for lack of a better word, it said. What would you say each of you concentrate on more? Amy, start with you.
So Lisa and I do a lot of the marketing stuff. I think most of it. And then Wendy, as I said before, she brings a different type of or set of skills, and she's more on the business side. So she's the one that's building relationships, in terms of connecting us to partners, to the right partnerships, to, walking us with, the prospect to see, if we're a fit or not. So we do a little bit of everything. You know how it is, being an entrepreneur, you wear different hats. We also do a little bit of business. We try not to, but we do a little bit of that. I think, yes, we do have, a different set of skills, but we also learn along the way how to do X, Y, and Z. That's why, we're working together. So we do, 33% of the 100% of building a business, each of us.
And what's the genesis of the name of your company, Fluentica? Where did that come from?
Yeah, it's like a Spanglish between fluency or fluent, and tica, which in Spanish is a suffix related to, which is it's basically related to flow and basically that.
Okay. And what do you see as next steps for you and the company? I know you're new, but I know that you're always thinking ahead, because that you have to be that way. What do you feel are the next steps for you for growth or expansion?
One of the challenges we have, just because we are very new and at the beginning, it's hard to only stick with one industry or one type of type of business. Then what we want to do is just narrow down our audience or ICP and our businesses and specialize more. We want to focus on tech startups, and that's something that it's been a challenge just because of how everything is going, and also the characteristics of these tech founders. But I think that's something that we discuss and that we want to explore further, especially for the next year.
Amy, you in agreement on that, or anything more to add?
I agree with that. That's something that, 100%. When you first start a business, and this is something that nobody tells you, you feel like you have it all figured out until you don't. And that's something that we thought we had figured out at the beginning, having our ideal client, how would that look like? And then the first year was a lot of learning about who that audience was. And then this second year, we kind of have it figured out already. So now, as Lisandra said, it's a matter of execution. So building out that path towards that specific audience.
As we kind of wind down a little bit, what would you both, I'm going to ask you both the same question. What would you say are the top three things you'd advise someone who's thinking, not in the position where they are ready to use your service, the marketing, but are just getting involved, whether they're my age, your age, or whatever, in a business? What would you say are the top three things they need to be aware of or should know?
Get a mentor. That's the first thing you need to do. You need to have a mentor, yes or yes. Don't get only one. Get one for every specific thing you think you know.
That's great advice.
That's the first thing you need to do. My second advice will be build your network. You have no idea how hard it is to build a network. That's something that we also had to learn the hard way the first year, building out a network and keeping up with those contacts. Not just, whenever you need them, but whenever you think they need you, just be there, authentically. And then my third advice is consistency is key. The first year, you're not going to see the results you're expecting to see. Otherwise, everybody will be building out businesses every single day, because if it was easy like that, but consistency is needed when you're an entrepreneur. You might see results, I think, after the third year or so, statistically speaking.
Yeah.
So you need to have consistency if you really want to build a business.
Lisandra, any more to add to that?
Maybe one more. I think that you have to be in the right mindset because we want things right away, and we have to understand that it's a process. And I love a song that has helped me in the past regarding of this, which is like love the journey or the story, not just the ending. It's a Dressler's song. I don't know if you heard about this author, but basically it's about like just learn with the process, and everything is a journey. Life, it's that. So it's like, don't expect that you're gonna get results right away. It's everything about like the whole plan. It's not just about how things are gonna end. It's about like how you build the whole story. And this is a mantra that we also have for our clients, because nowadays everyone wants things right away. Like, I want results for tomorrow, and it's a matter of letting them know that it's a long-term growth and long-term strategy and process. So like, I'd say that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot about being realistic, as you were saying. Don't have to tamp down your expectations, as both of you said, but you need to, stay focused on them. And, everyone wants, as you said, Lisandra, everyone wants everything yesterday.
Yeah.
And sometimes just taking a deep breath and enjoying the journey is great too. So thank you so much. It's been terrific to spend a little bit of the afternoon with you, ladies. I wish you all the success in the world, and maybe next time we can get Wendy, work it out so she can join us. But I wish you all the good luck, and I think that your company's terrific. So thank you for joining and taking the time today. It was lovely to meet you both.
Thank you.
Honored to be here. Thank you, Gail.
The whole world against me. See, I ain't worried cause I got the greatest in me. I know I'm human problems, yeah, I got plenty, but I won't stop her to